At 82 years old, I have lived through many chapters of life, but there is one decision I deeply regret: moving into a nursing home. At first, it sounded like the safest choice. My family promised I would have comfort, care, and peace of mind. I believed them, but the reality was nothing like I expected. Life inside a nursing home is not just about changing your address. It changes everything about the way you live. The small freedoms you once had, the routines you loved, the sense of being in control of your own life. Slowly they disappear. And once you step inside, leaving is never as simple as it seems. Today I want to share with you 6 hard truths about nursing homes. If you or a loved one is considering this step, please watch until the end before making such a life-changing decision. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, where are you watching this from? Share your city or country below. And if you'd like more honest stories and lessons like this, remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Now let's begin with the first truth. The very first truth I faced after moving into a nursing home was the loss of independence, and it hit me harder than I ever expected. Before moving in, I thought the changes would be small. A smaller room, a few new routines, maybe some new faces. But the real change went far deeper. I quickly realized I was no longer in charge of my own life. At home, I had freedom. I chose when to wake up, when to eat, when to take a walk around the neighborhood, or when to sit quietly in my favorite chair with a book. Those small choices gave me dignity. They gave me a sense of control. Inside the nursing home, those freedoms disappeared. Breakfast came at a set time. Lights out happened whether I was ready or not. Even a short walk outside meant waiting for staff asking for permission. Things I once decided for myself suddenly felt like privileges. I remember one morning during my first week, I woke up early, ready to start the day the way I used to. At home, I would make coffee, step outside to breathe in the morning air, and feel alive. Here I reached for my book, but then I looked around. The walls were sterile. The bed wasn't mine. My books, my chair, my little comforts, all gone. That morning I realized this wasn't my life anymore. And it wasn't just me. I met David, a man in his 70s. Back home, he used to garden every single day. Tomatoes, cucumbers, roses, his backyard was his pride. In the nursing home, there was no soil, no tools, no freedom to dig his hands into the earth. He told me I feel like I lost not just my garden, but myself. I knew exactly what he meant. Independence is not only about big decisions, it's about the little ones too. Choosing what to wear, what to eat, when to rest, when to move. And once you surrender those choices, getting them back is almost impossible. At first you resist. You ask if you can eat later, or if you can take a walk on your own. But over time you stop asking. You adapt. You learn to fit into their schedule, not yours. And little by little you start losing yourself. The hardest part is realizing how quickly this change happens. One day you're making your own choices. The next day you're waiting for someone else to tell you when it's time to move, eat, or even sleep. Let me pause here and ask you something. Could you give up the small freedoms that make life yours? If you're still with me, type the number 1 in the comments. It lets me know you understand how precious independence really is. Because once those freedoms are gone, you will miss them more than you ever imagined. More than the meals, more than the room. What you miss most is being in charge of your own life. That is the first truth, and it is one that changes everything. Now let's move on to the second truth. And trust me, it is even more painful. Feeling forgotten. The second truth about nursing homes is something no one tells you. It's the feeling of being forgotten. When I first moved in, my family promised they would visit often. "We'll come every week," they said. "You won't feel lonely," they said. And at the beginning they did. My children, my grandchildren, they came with flowers, with smiles, with stories. I felt loved. I felt remembered. But slowly the visits became less frequent. A week turned into 2. 2 weeks turned into a month. And eventually months went by without a single familiar face. It wasn't because they didn't care. Life is busy, work, school, responsibilities. Everyone has their own schedule. And somehow visiting me slipped further and further down their list. That's when the loneliness set in. And let me tell you, loneliness is a heavy weight. It doesn't just hurt your heart, it hurts your body too. Studies show that loneliness in older adults increases the risk of heart disease, memory loss, even early death. But you don't need studies to know that. You feel it every day. I remember sitting in the lounge one evening. The TV was on, but no one was watching. Around me were 10, maybe 15 other residents. Most sat in silence, staring at the floor or at nothing at all. The room was full of people, but it felt empty. Then one man spoke. His name was Robert. He said, "My son hasn't called me in 3 months." His voice cracked when he said it. He looked down at his hands, and in that moment, I saw myself. Because my story was the same. Being forgotten doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in slowly. First fewer visits, then shorter phone calls, then no calls at all. And it's not just family. Friends you once laughed with every week don't come around anymore. Neighbors you once waved to every morning forget you exist. The world keeps moving forward, but you are left behind. And here's the worst part. When you feel forgotten long enough, you start to believe it. You start telling yourself, maybe I don't matter anymore. That thought eats away at your spirit, and once your spirit weakens, your health follows. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt forgotten? Have you ever waited for a call or a visit that never came? If you know that feeling, type the number 2 in the comments, because I want you to know you are not alone. Nursing homes don't advertise this truth. They show pictures of happy people playing games, smiling together. But the reality is often different. Many of us spend our days waiting for someone to remember we exist. I'm not saying families don't love us. I believe they do. But love without presence feels like emptiness. And that emptiness becomes the second hard truth about nursing homes. Not the loss of health, not the loss of money, but the loss of feeling connected to the people you love most. Now, if losing independence was painful, feeling forgotten is even worse. Because when you no longer feel remembered, you start to lose hope. And without hope, life inside those walls feels heavier every single day. That is the second truth, and it leads us directly into the third one, losing your sense of purpose. The third truth about life in a nursing home is losing your sense of purpose. And to me, this was even harder than losing independence or feeling forgotten. You see, at home, I had reasons to get up every morning. Small things maybe, but they mattered. Watering my plants, cooking breakfast for myself, folding the laundry. Even paying the bills gave me a sense of responsibility. I felt useful. I felt alive. Inside the nursing home, those small tasks were gone. Meals were prepared by staff. Laundry was done on schedule. Bills no longer mine to handle. All the routines that once filled my days vanished, and with them the sense that my life had meaning. One morning I sat on the edge of my bed and asked myself, why should I get up today? No plants to water, no meals to cook, no family waiting for me. For the first time in my life, I felt like my existence didn't matter. And I wasn't alone in this. I met Mary, an 85-year-old woman who had been a teacher for over 40 years. Every day of her life, she inspired children, shaped young minds, gave purpose to her community. But in the nursing home, she told me, no one asks for my advice anymore. No one needs me. I just sit and wait. That broke my heart because I understood. Purpose is not about being busy. It's about feeling needed, feeling like you contribute something to the world, no matter how small. Without purpose, the days blend together. Monday feels like Tuesday. Tuesday feels like Wednesday. You lose track of time because every day looks the same. And when days no longer have meaning, life starts to lose its spark. That is why depression is so common in nursing homes. Not just because of loneliness, but because people no longer feel useful. Let me ask you something. What gives you purpose today? Is it your work, your family, your hobbies? Type the word purpose in the comments and share what keeps you moving forward. Because the moment you lose that, life feels empty. I remember a staff member once told me, relax, you don't have to worry about anything anymore. Just enjoy your days. She meant well, but to me it felt like she was saying, you don't have a role anymore. Just wait, and waiting is not living. The sad truth is, nursing homes often take away the very things that make us feel human. The routines, the responsibilities, the small acts of care that give shape to our days. Without them, you feel like a passenger in your own life. Losing purpose is like losing the compass that guides you. And when that compass is gone, you feel lost. That is the third truth, and it connects directly to the fourth one, a decline in health that comes faster than you think. The fourth truth about nursing homes is the rapid decline in health, and this one shocked me the most. You might think that living in a place with doctors, nurses, and round-the-clock care would make you healthier. In some ways that's true. Medications are managed, emergencies are handled quickly, but health is not only about medicine, it is about movement, it is about independence, it is about spirit. And when those are taken away, the body weakens faster than you expect. At home, I stayed active. I swept the porch, carried groceries, took short walks outside. Small actions, but they kept my muscles strong. In the nursing home, many of those activities disappeared. Meals were served. Laundry was done for me. Even walking outside required supervision. Slowly, my body stopped moving the way it used to. Within a few months, I noticed my legs felt weaker. Climbing stairs became harder. My balance felt shaky. Things that had once been simple now required effort. And I was not the only one. My friend Helen, a woman full of life at 78, loved dancing before she moved in. She said to me one day, "I used to dance every weekend. Now I can barely get up from this chair." Her decline was heartbreaking. And it wasn't because of age alone. It was because she no longer moved enough. The mind also suffers. Without purpose and activity, the brain slows down. I saw residents who had sharp memories begin to forget names, dates, even their own stories. Not because they had dementia, but because they had nothing to stimulate their minds. Doctors in the facility did their best, but no medication can replace freedom, no pill can replace movement, no treatment can replace the will to live. Let me pause here. Do you believe staying active is the real medicine? If you do, type the word "move" in the comments. Because movement is life, and the less you move, the faster life slips away. Another problem is diet. Meals in nursing homes are planned for efficiency, not individuality. Bland food, overcooked vegetables, soft textures that are easy to serve but lack nutrition. Over time, that takes a toll. I lost weight, others gained, and most of us lost energy. Physical health and mental health go hand in hand. When your body weakens, your spirit weakens. And when your spirit weakens, your health declines even more. It's a cycle that's hard to break. And it happens faster inside a nursing home than it does in your own home. That is the fourth truth, and it is a painful one, because once your health declines, everything else declines with it. But there's another truth that may be even harder: the loss of privacy, the feeling that even your most personal moments are no longer yours, and that is the fifth truth. The fifth truth about life in a nursing home is the loss of privacy. And this perhaps was the hardest for me to accept. Privacy is something we take for granted when we live at home. Closing the bedroom door, taking a shower in peace, choosing when and how to be alone. These are small things, but they are the foundation of dignity. In a nursing home, that privacy disappears. Staff members enter your room at any time. Sometimes they knock, sometimes they don't. They mean well, but the message is clear: this is not truly your space. I remember one afternoon I was resting. The door opened without warning. A nurse came in to check something. She was kind, but I felt exposed. My rest was not mine anymore. Even my time in bed belonged to the system. Bathrooms were worse. Many residents need help with bathing. I didn't at first, but some insisted anyway. Standing there with someone else watching, I felt stripped not just of my clothes, but of my dignity. Privacy, once so natural, became a luxury I no longer had. And it wasn't just me. I met George, a proud man in his late 70s. He told me at home I could shave, slowly take my time. Here I'm rushed. I feel like a child again, not a man. His words captured exactly how I felt. Even conversations lacked privacy. Phone calls could be overheard. Letters sometimes read by staff before being handed over. There was always the feeling that someone else was watching, listening, deciding. And when you lose privacy, you lose more than space. You lose identity. You lose the sense of being an adult in control of your own life. Let me ask you this. How much is privacy worth to you? Could you imagine living without it every day? If you believe privacy is sacred, type the word privacy in the comments. Because the truth is, you never realize how precious it is until it's gone. Without privacy, even the smallest actions feel monitored. Eating, sleeping, dressing, all under someone else's eyes. And it changes the way you see yourself. You begin to feel less like a person and more like a patient. And that change cuts deep, because once you stop seeing yourself as a full human being, life loses meaning. That is the fifth truth, and it is a truth that robs you quietly day after day. But there is still one more, a truth that may be the most painful of all, the feeling of being trapped, the realization that leaving a nursing home is far harder than entering one, and that is the sixth and final truth. The sixth and final truth about nursing homes is the feeling of being trapped, and this is the one most people never see coming. When you first move in, you tell yourself it's temporary. If I don't like it, I can always leave. That's what I thought. That's what many others believed. But once you're inside, leaving is not simple at all. Why? Because your life outside slowly disappears. Your home may be sold, your belongings given away, your independence weakened. Returning to the old life becomes harder, sometimes impossible. I remember talking to Anna, a woman in her 80s. She told me I only planned to stay for a few months, but now my house is gone, my health is worse, and I don't know where I'd go even if I left. Her words stayed with me, because they were my truth too. You lose choices, you lose options. You begin to realize the nursing home isn't just where you live, it's where you will likely stay until the very end. And that realization feels like a cage. Even if the walls are clean and the staff is kind, it's still a cage when you have no way out. The trapped feeling grows with time. At first, you miss your old routines. Later, you stop imagining them. You adapt not because you want to, but because you feel you have no choice. That's the cruelest part. You don't just live there, you surrender there. Let me ask you something. How would you feel if you believed you could never go home again? Type the word home in the comments if you think freedom is worth fighting for, no matter your age. Because freedom is not just for the young. It is the right of every human being. And when that freedom is gone, you feel trapped in ways that are hard to describe. That is the sixth truth, and it is perhaps the most painful of them all. But this is not the end of the story, because while these truths are harsh, they also carry a message of choice, of awareness, of love. And that brings us to the conclusion. These six truths about nursing homes are not easy to hear. Losing independence, feeling forgotten, losing purpose, declining health, losing privacy, and feeling trapped. Each one is painful. Together, they change life in ways most people never imagine. I don't share these truths to frighten you. I share them so you can be prepared, so you can make choices with open eyes, and so families can understand the reality their loved ones may face. If you are considering a nursing home, I urge you, think carefully, visit often, keep connections alive, remind your loved ones they are not forgotten, give them purpose, respect their privacy, and most of all, remind them they are still free in spirit, even if their circumstances are limited. Because love, presence, and respect can soften even the hardest truths. And with those, life inside a nursing home can still carry dignity. Let me ask you this before we end. Have you or your family experienced any of these truths? Share one word in the comments that best describes your feelings, because your story matters. And when you share others, learn they are not alone. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There are more stories, lessons, and truths I want to share with you. Truths that can guide you, protect you, and remind you that life after 60 still holds value and meaning. Thank you for watching. And remember, no matter where you live, your life still matters. You are still important, and you are never truly alone.